Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and the speakers, and the chairman. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm just an overview of U.S. health system. I'm going to show a lot of complex slides, but I will just quickly browse through. I don't want the audience to kind of focus that. And first, before starting, we can come from all over the world and say here, what to follow, what not to follow. And I just always start off with a quotation from Tirukkural. Oh, this is not coming. This says, Marandana Vendam Yakeki Arandiyada Atradu Potri Unin. That is, if you watch your food, you don't need any medicines or any doctors. That is preventive care much more than anything. And starting off with goals of this module, describe the funding of the U.S. healthcare system, describe the structure of the U.S. healthcare system, and how the quality measures and guidelines are obtained and implemented in the U.S., and what lessons Sri Lanka or Northern Province, Eastern Province of primary health care take from the US system. And US healthcare funding, how this is funded. The 2011, the total expenditure is $2 trillion. At the same time in Sri Lanka, it's only almost 100 million, it's fraction. And per capita national healthcare expenditure, that is from the total income to healthcare expenditure ratio, it is $8,000 or $8,680. In Sri Lanka, only $189. And total national health expenditure as a percentage of GDP, 17.9%. is spent on healthcare, but in Sri Lanka only 3.2%. Who pays this $2 trillion? And most of them are from the state government, most of them are from federal government and state government, almost 50% or more, and then it comes private sector, that is through their employers, and then 1/3 is out of pocket. And this is the expenditure spent on the care. Most of them are hospital care, and that is 31%, 27% professional services, that is doctor service and other dentists, therapists, etc. And x-rays, laboratory service, etc. The rest are that's shown. And then US healthcare structure. This is the most expensive and complex system in the world. So I don't know. I will kind of explain to you, and then we'll discuss about it. Pay-oriented structure is Medicare is the government pay, mainly for the people who are about 65 years, 20%. Then Medicaid is the charity, that is who does not have enough money, and that is 15%. Then other public is 12%. Private insurance is 33%, and out-of-pocket 12%. Then care-oriented structure is inpatient care, like here in hospital, that is hospital care, post-hospital care, hospice care, that is inpatient hospice, and outpatient care is outpatient practice like clinics run by individual physicians or group physicians or hospitals or corporations. Or specialists also see, any specialist also can see primary physicians, primary care patients. Then there are ambulatory clinics, surgical centers, outpatient, urgent cares, And most of the hospitals has emergency rooms, and bulk of the patients can access that as an outpatient also, but it's a form of expensive primary care. Then the doctors visit nursing homes personally, go see patients, or there are home visits who are very sick patients, they get home visits as well. Then the private provider-oriented structure, physicians and nurse practitioners is like RMP, like that, and registered AMPs like the dentists, therapists. Then this is just a flow of funds from geriatric, how the taxpayers go into these healthcare providers, how it is very complex system. The quality measures and guidelines, main quality, this is center of Medicare, Medicaid services, that is part of the branch of the government healthcare system, and then they have defined the what it's exactly, how it's defined, and then they have established tools of how to measure, and then so many organizations are responsible creating and maintaining those tools. I don't want to discuss that, and how the data are collected at various levels, either inpatient, outpatient, physicians, long term. I'm going to focus only physicians. That is, it's called PQRS. And how are they used? Mainly to improve quality, public reporting, reward and reimbursements, and so on. So these are the organizations responsible. This is the center of Medicare, Medicaid, and there are other organizations mainly attached to the healthcare, and the VA systems, and there are private institutions or private organizations also collect, insurance companies and managed care organizations. This is, it's called PQRS, that is a Physician Quality Reporting System. They just started, and they have, this is the tools. There are like, just for example, 1, 2, there are like 378 tools. You can pick up the appropriate tools to apply at the office level, and then they have put out the guidelines how to use those tools. This is how tools can be selected, some criteria. I'm not going to go into detail. And this is, they are incentivizing reporting, that is up to 9 tools each physician has to pick up in 3 different domains. And then from 2014 January onwards, they are going to incentivize for reporting. And then by 2016, if you don't comply, then they are going to punish. That is, you don't get the reimbursement of each physicians. And this is how they are, everything is code, the disease, diagnosis. You have to get the reimbursement, you have to code the illness to get the reimbursement. It's a very complex system. Now they have put a code system for this quality reporting. This is like a patient is being seen by a doctor, and then he has a coronary artery disease, and the appropriate thing is that you have to start patient on aspirin or antiplatelet. This is like that code is put, or if there is any contraindications, you have to put that code, or there is no reason, then you have to put that code. You have to mention those codes like that, 9 codes to get the reimbursement or incentives. Preventive health care is mainly counseling and screening, that is secondary health care, and tertiary is management. Those are the guidelines. Most of the Medicare, earlier they had clear guidelines, but they are not following. So each managed cares, insurance companies, they have their guidelines. It's very complicated and confused. So I'm not going the preventive care, mainly preventive and secondary prevention, that is counseling and screening. They have created a task force, that is United States Preventive Task Force, and they have, it's like a 14 members, all voluntary, and they put out all the guidelines, and they say that A is strongly recommended, B recommended, C not recommended, D against recommendations, and I insufficient evidence. And there is a website you can go and get all the details. And this is that Obama Healthcare had put out the mandatory recommendations. I have just a sample. I'm going to give all this to Dr. Surendra Kumaran and then let him select what he has. And then management guidelines. I just follow this book. I'm going to leave a copy of this book to Dr. Surendra Kumaran. He can pick and choose. There are almost all the main guidelines are given. For instance, atrial fibrillation guidelines, American College of ACC and AHA. Then this is the cholesterol guideline, the latest. This is the lipid management guidelines. This, unfortunately, American Heart Association had put cholesterol guidelines in 2013. More than 50% of the general population should be on statin medication. So I don't know whether it's good or bad. And then this is type 1 diabetes by American Diabetic Association. Again, type 2 diabetes, American Diabetic Association, American College of Cardiology. This is like a heart failure guidelines. This is the hypertension guidelines. So what lessons Sri Lankan primary healthcare can take from US? This is the most expensive and redundant care delivered. I don't know whether we can really follow in Sri Lanka. In United States, you can see out of the developed world, even like twice the amount they utilize into the healthcare. If they go like this, by end of 2050, almost 100% of GDP they are going to spend on healthcare. That's why they are panicking and then trying to control the cost. And it should be it's Dr. Surendra Kumaran had already discussed, it should be simple, user-friendly, cost-effective, and based on evidence-based guidelines. That's what I'm going to give the thing. You can refine the guidelines of disease management. Of course, the US PTS, that is United States Preventive Task Force guidelines are excellent guidelines for the primary, the preventive and counseling. And Jaffna Peninsula, my thing is, it's a living laboratory, and then somebody has to make this Jaffna, like Framingham Heart Studies, Honolulu Heart Study, like that. Somebody has to make use of this Jaffna population to have a long-term or longitudinal study. That's what it's because high prevalence of heart disease, cancers, mental diseases, we don't know why this is happening. And this is the cartoon depicted. Most of the Americans will end up going to China for their treatment. And if Dr. Surendra Kumaran develops an ideal healthcare location, it will be into Jaffna. We'll be coming here. All right. All right, thank you.